Hi, I'm Fimone. I am a Nashville blues rock country artist, and I'm going to tell you about my new upcoming EP, Fascination. I'm super excited for this EP to come out. It comes out on October 25th, and the name of the EP is called Fascination. I recorded it in New Orleans in a house that was a brothel for over 40 years from 1920 to 1960. I'm also making a documentary about how it came to be that I recorded an EP in a house in New Orleans that operated as a brothel for over 40 years from 1920 to 1960. The EP Fascination is about uncovering hidden truths and sides of yourself that you maybe have been too afraid to look at, or that you just haven't reached a point in your life that you are able or ready to look at. I recorded this with Grammy award-winning producer Greg Majors, who is amazing, and an amazing group of musicians from Nashville that I took down to New Orleans. And the reason I wanted to record in this house in New Orleans was I have been going down to New Orleans for over a decade, and specifically for this house. The first time I ever went down to New Orleans and saw this house, I had just finished reading the book The Last Madam by Christine Wiltz, and I just became fascinated by Norma's story, this woman who owned and operated this brothel in New Orleans, and her character, her grit. And I went down to New Orleans for the very first time over a decade ago, and I had the address from the book for this house, and I ended up on the doorstep of that house, and I ended up meeting the owner of that house. And over the course of the next decade, I've developed relationships with people, including the owner of the house, including the author of the book. And I'm making a documentary about my experience getting to know Norma through the people and places that she lived her life in New Orleans. And so a lot of these songs are inspired by Norma and her character and those pieces of her that I identify with or that I want to embody. The writing process for all of these songs, I was so inspired by just the city of New Orleans and just by the magic and the mystery of the city and the history of the city and a lot of what I was going through personally at that time. And so all of these songs were just really inspired by that energy. So that's a little bit about my sophomore EP, Fascination. I hope that you are ready to stream it when it comes out on October 25th.